Welcome to the Growth Boss podcast, where we seek out the secrets to high-performing campaigns from some of the smartest marketers in the world. I'm your host, Jared Smith. Today, I have Patryk Wawok with me, and he's going to teach us how to rank in AI with Technical SEO. Patryk helps e-commerce businesses with 1 to 10 million in annual revenue grow through smart technical SEO and content strategies. He's the founder of Organic Hackers, a team of experts that works directly with business owners to fix site issues, speed up slow pages, and improve Google rankings. Patryk has years of hands-on experience and has worked with several Fortune 500 brands. He's especially great at helping busy founders who feel stuck with SEO but don't know where to start. Patryk, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Jared. Nice to be here.
Awesome. So walk us through your process of, the technical side of SEO in terms of how to get a site ranked in the AI search engine. And just so people understand, when you say, get ranked in AI, are we talking about ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, kind of all of them? Or are you kind of targeting just one of those?
In many cases, we target all of them. We target all of them. And just to be straightforward with you and to debunk any misconceptions, I don't think ranking in AI search is that different than traditional SEO. And I like to look at this AI search, geo, whatever, however you call it, a different look at the same SEO problems that we always looked at. So in many cases, we focus on crawling, indexing, rendering, which we already focus for years and years in terms of for Google and for usual search engines. But for AI, it's again the same issues, but we again need to look at the same issues that we look at crawling and indexation years ago. The same issues apply here in AI search. I would even go into a more in-depth saying that the basic issues that Google right now figured on its own, so a lot of JS render issues or crawling issues Google is trying to resolve right now on its own, AI search is not there. So right now with technical SEO, we need to even go back to the issues or to the fixes that we had to do for Google, 5-6 years ago. Now AI search is struggling with it. So the stuff that we already did is still applicable for AI search, and sometimes in some cases we need to go back to even the basic ones that we thought we don't need to worry about anymore, but we again need to.
Okay, very good. So walk us through your process, and maybe we do it as if I were the client. I actually have an e-commerce brand, been in business for 7 years, domain rating of 70 plus, pretty strong website. What are some of the initial things that you would look at if you were going to work with us?
Do you mean overall in terms of technical SEO or
yes,
especially for the search? Okay,
well, I would say overall, and then maybe, highlight the differences. Yeah.
Okay, so for overall, I like to look at technical SEO and I like to separate it into, I believe, 8 to 10 areas. So I like to go area by area for a particular brand. So it's crawling, indexing, internal linking, web performance, structured data, JavaScript SEO, international SEO, mobile, and I can probably figure out the remaining 2. But those 8 are the core of technical SEO from my perspective. And I like to go pretty much segment by segment and see what's the core issue, what's the core area for your client, for your brand, for example. And with this, I can easily pinpoint what's the struggle on your site. So for example, if you have, millions of excluded pages in Google Search Console, it's most likely it's good to look at the indexation. If you are struggling with the site speed, your largest contentful pane is good for 5% of users, maybe you should look at this and try to pinpoint the areas that are in which the client is struggling the most. And then I like to go deeper into particular issues. And this helps me to structurize pretty much the entire cooperation, structurize the entire implementation process with the client. So I know how to start with, what I want to start with from the most important issues to make sure that we start with the biggest impact right from the beginning, and then go area by area and try to clean everything that we need to. And that's mostly my process. Start from the lowest hanging fruits and go from there.
Okay. And what do you feel about links and kind of domain authority with AI search engines? Is that a major factor for you?
With links and domain for AI search, yeah, I think it's a process, and it's just a part of branding in my case. And I like to think of websites not as just websites. I like to think of them as brands. And right now, I don't think we should create only websites, and links can be a good indicator for like social proof, for showcasing search engines and AI, that this is not just a website, but it's also a brand. It's being mentioned in other websites, and it's an actual business rather than just, I don't know, dropshipping site with nobody behind it. And I think this, like, links can be a good point in this branding strategy. But in terms of branding, there are a lot more things that we need to consider, like, of course, like social media presence, having like a about us page with like photos of people a part of the brand, being present on like LinkedIn, being present on all the other areas, showcasing yourself as an actual rather than just a website. And I think links are good for that, because AI could also pick like your brand as a brand rather than just a website, and links can be a good indicator towards that. But there are many other channels that you could utilize to improve branding.
Okay. So walk us through why having, pictures on your about page or a presence on LinkedIn, why is that important to AI search engines?
I think this is actually started by, and with AI search engines, we also look at like AI overviews and all that. AI is trying to, like, similar to what Google tries to do, AI tries to do, is to serve as good content as possible. If they, like, the result of that is still not perfect, like Google still messes up the quality of search results. ChatGPT is still hallucinating, and all the other chats are also doing that. But over time, it'll be getting better and better. And you can see that pretty much since, 2023, 2024, right now, like, all the web and SEO is very, very much customer focused and user. And I think being present on, like, having a proper about us page with a history, having a social presence and social media presence on LinkedIn or whatever, all of this builds user trust and showcases you as a quality brand rather than just whatever website, whatever scapegoat or whatever people want to use your website for. You showcase yourself as a quality brand that it could be recommended, especially with AI and with AI reviews and Google. You can see that just with those branding tweaks and showcasing yourself, it's bringing very good results. And if the branding goes together with the quality of the service or the content that you provide, it's the winning combination. You cannot go wrong with that. And that's, going back to the beginning, what I said, AI and Google tries to serve as good content as they can. So if you can showcase yourself as a good source of content and so good a source of a given service, that's a win situation for you. So I think we need to focus more on how to put yourself as a higher quality source for search engines and for AI, and higher source of content, higher source of higher quality content for users, and together with that will come search results and AI. First focus on users, then go search engines and AI.
Yeah, exactly. I read an interesting quote a couple weeks ago from the CEO. I think it was of Anthropic. It could have been Perplexity though. But basically he was saying, our goal is to build an engine that doesn't require SEOs to get it ranked. And what he was saying behind that, and I'm not sure I agree 100% with it, but what he's saying is exactly what you're saying. And that is, like, build a real brand, like try to create a great brand presence with exceptional services. We've ranked really, really well with my e-commerce brand ChatGPT for our niche because that's been our focus, not because we've been trying to get ranked in there, but just because we've been looking to provide a great experience. We've got hundreds of reviews on Google. We've got a A+ rating on the BBB. It's little things that show people and show search engines we're a real brand and we're taking this seriously. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. Like, especially like user reviews. Even like with myself, when I see a brand actually, I don't know, caring about the reviews and answering to them and actually managing even the negative ones, especially, it is such a strong indicator that they care about the user.
Right.
And it's a good positive signal for my brain, even seeing like Google patterns that they try to mimic that. They try to mimic those positive signals in search results, and you use this data and analyze and understand that this is a positive signal. The user likes this website for some reason, and it later boosts it in search results. Of course, they are not making it like they're not getting it perfect, and you like helpful content update, like whatever, like all of those updates, they screwed over a lot of very good brands, but the end goal is solid, and I really hope at some point they will get it right. And the quote that you mentioned, that Perplexity or Anthropic, they want to create an engine that doesn't require SEOs. I'm thinking if our niche, or like the name of our like niche, maybe I think someday it will just change from SEO, because if it will change to like branding or just website optimization, whatever.
Yes.
Because if we focus on users and then focus on search engines, why are we called search engine optimization?
Right.
Is it
exactly?
Recently I started working, maybe not recently, like, I don't know, for a couple of years, I started working with some UX specialists on some projects, and we can see so many like overlaps with what we do and with what Google tries to also communicate in terms of user experience. Like I think like Core Vitals were a good first step into that, where we saw that they are pushing it a bit more, like the user data and user satisfaction. And now we have all those leaks from the Google, what's the word? From the Google...
the trial.
The trial that is happening.
Lawsuit and stuff,
from the lawsuit, that they are using user data and positive notes and all of that. It matters for search engines. And I think at some point, we just won't be SEOs anymore. We will be something else, a bit more holistic approach into optimizing for users and for just like quality improvers or whatever.
Right, exactly. And highlighting where the brand can improve from a brand standpoint, from a service and product standpoint, and making sure that people are doing all the little things that show that we are brands. And as you remember, back in the day, Eric Schmidt, when he was the CEO of Google, he said, brands are how you sort out the cesspool, and that's kind of been the target they've been going after for the last 20 years. And it's true. And that's what everybody wants. That's what users want too. They want the legit brand. So they don't want somebody that just gets ranked because they hired a good SEO. They want somebody who actually has the best product or service.
Yeah, I think when people are saying that they won't need SEOs or they won't be SEOs in the future, I think the reasoning behind this, there won't be like those quick tricks SEOs.
Right, the tricks. Exactly, the manipulation.
Yeah, and all of us will be I'm thinking that would be very interesting time when we... If we all go white hat and we all go focusing into like creating the best brands, what would be like the differentiator? Right now you can see some people, for example, even like optimizing Core Vitals and all that. The thresholds that Google is putting into particular metrics, what if everybody is matching those? Then you need to be better than you have to be
unique, right? Wouldn't you say that a big component, you got to be different, you got to be unique.
Yeah. So I think having like good reviews or like having, I don't know, meeting Core Vital thresholds will just not be enough. You have to be even faster, or you have to have, I don't know, manage your resources or like your reviews even better, have even greater results, have like the threshold into like to be even better will be even higher. The longer we are doing it. But right now, as I mentioned, like Google is not getting it perfect. ChatGPT is not getting it perfect. There is still a ton of like a parasite SEO or other cheap tricks that are bringing really good results. But how long will it take for Google to actually make it work? We don't know. We don't know. But I think the end goal is white hat.
Yeah, agreed. So as somebody who looks at a lot of websites, right, what are some of the common mistakes that you're seeing on a fairly regular basis?
Common mistakes in terms of technical SEO, I think that's my go-to answer usually, and still for like a couple of years, is just crawling and indexing. There are so many, like, even I'm not even talking about brands, because I analyzed like hundreds of websites in my career over the last, I don't know, 9 years. I would say even CMSs are like the bane of my existence. Like fixing the same issues in the most popular CMSs is something tiring, and it's especially in terms of crawling and indexing. Like I think I finally need to create some sort of article or post or whatever about Shopify, because it's my nemesis, I would say, because I fix the same issues pretty much on every single client that I have and every single site. And I remember even when I was working at some agencies years ago, there were instances where like CMS managers or like companies that created different e-commerce CMSs reached out to like our company to fix like the CMS itself, not only
oh my goodness,
not only the website. We're like fixing like thousands of websites this way, and I did that a couple of times. I like helped create like new CMSs for a couple of businesses, and I think this is the way to go. And going back to your question, like crawling and indexing are usually the most common issues, and also with the level of complexity and level of like the different types of issues that are happening. And, like I saw like over the years, like when I create like dozens of technical audits, like usually half of the audit is crawling and indexing, because there are so many issues usually in that regard. The other area that I would say is still in some cases site speed, but I really dislike the fact that many people from Google are putting Core Vitals and site speed as don't care about it. This is just a tiebreaker, whatever. I don't like this fact that they are putting so little impact into it, and I I understand the fact that it won't make or break your SEO. It might not improve your rankings significantly, but I saw in many cases that after fixing those issues, like the conversions like went through the roof, just from fixing like a couple of issues. And who doesn't want to make, I don't know, 20% more money just from fixing those issues? And I saw this happening even from simplest issues, like I don't know, fixing. I think one of the projects I did like years ago, I think we struggled a lot with like backend stuff and optimizing database queries for the CMS. And I think right at the end of the cooperation, we managed to fix that. And like it took like 2 days to see conversions increasing by like 15%. Like the conversion rate going from like, I don't know, 2% to 2.4 or something like that. So it was insane from like this one fix that was pretty much blocking the performance. And you could actually see the impact that even me on desktop, I was able to see the impact of those fixes. And the same goes with like user experience. I might go a bit around your question, but there are so many UX issues on websites that, again, in the long term will impact your SEO, but also impact your business as well. Like I had a case where my client had like a huge, like a ad banner at the top, site-wide on an e-commerce site, but it was not an ad banner. Like, it was an ad banner, but it wasn't like a Google Ads. It was just for like their suppliers. They had like additional deals with them, and we just removed it. We just removed this banner. I was like, okay, maybe we could remove it because it doesn't fit the layout, and it's like had different colors. It doesn't fit like the branding and all that. So we removed it, I believe, on product pages, because a lot of traffic was only on product pages, and collection pages. We removed this, and in like a week we had, I don't know, 15% increase in conversions, just because we removed this one element. Because and the layout was like 10 times cleaner because of this. Right. Those simple changes that don't take much time and usually are the result of either the technical debt or some like business decision that happened years ago and nobody remembers why it happened. All of those are like tanking your traffic, tanking your conversions, tanking your business, and being able to highlight those is the key to success.
Yeah, absolutely. What are your favorite tools these days as a technical SEO specialist, both on maybe the technical crawling, indexing side. I think of tools like Screaming Frog, but also with just like on-page optimization, the servers, the pops of the world. What are some of your favorite tools?
Like we mentioned Screaming Frog, this is like the bread and butter of every SEO, and I don't go anywhere without it. So I won't be going too in depth into it. So Screaming Frog is just insane. On my daily basis, I need to mention Chrome DevTools. It's such a powerful tool. So you can do so much stuff like with overwriting content code and testing yourself on like all code and seeing the results. Like of course Lighthouse is in there, playing around with network, with blocking resources. There are so many stuff you can do in Chrome DevTools, and I think there are so many people that are not utilizing it correctly. I think I just really like it and enjoy it. With site speed, I need to highlight web page test, or I think it's called Catchpoint now, or like web page test by Catchpoint. It's like a site speed checking tool with a great like technical look into like waterfall and how the resources are being loaded, and I think they are still working on it. Like they're still improving this tool, but over the years it got really good. And the paid version is also, I heard, really nice. But I'm just using the free one, and it does the job really well. In terms of technical, of course, I use Ahrefs daily, but it's not mostly for technical. For this,
what about for on-page?
For on-page, I use Screaming Frog for a lot of on-page stuff,
okay,
but also a lot of Chrome extensions for like checking on-page, and some like just JavaScript scripts that I have to check stuff. Like on one click, I can highlight all the links or highlight all the stuff that I want, check the canonicals and compare it. Like I have some of those scripts ready. Nothing that would change life, I would say. I really need to go back to Sidebulb, because I heard I really remember that when I used it when I was, I think, still starting working in SEO, like 2019 2018, and already back then it was really good. And like with the in-depth documentation that they have, it's a very good source of technical SEO knowledge, and I believe over the years they got even better. I really like their approach, and I think that would be it for technical and on-page in my case.
Okay. And when you have like a Shopify site, which I would imagine most of the e-commerce business owners that listen to this are on Shopify, what are some quick fixes that you can recommend for site speed? Do you use any third-party CDNs like a Cloudflare with Shopify, or is there anything else that you're like, hey, spend 15 minutes on this or $50 a month or whatever, and it will really make a big difference?
With Shopify, I tend to... in many cases, Shopify is doing really good in terms of site speed. I would say the first thing that I usually analyze is actually JavaScript rendering for site speed, because a lot of elements, crucial content, is being rendered with JavaScript. And for users and for like mobile devices, slower devices, it can be challenging, and there's a significant delay into loading those elements with JavaScript. So I would look into this. I don't think there is like a third-party solution for that. So in many cases, the team itself needs to be fixed, or the tool you're using for like PDPs for showcasing the content need to be fixed or changed. So that in many cases I tend to go with this. In terms of site speed, what else? Like, of course, if you are an international brand, CDN is a must, and being able to showcase content and showcase your pages on all the different markets without the need of, like, without the struggle of people connecting from like the other side of the world to the server you have in your basement. It's a good solution to just have Cloudflare. And of course, also with Cloudflare, you have all those site speed enhancements that they just provide. You just need to toggle them on. So like early hands, side exchanges. There's something else like crawler hands, but it's not for site speed. Like there are a lot of automatic stuff that Cloudflare just does for you, and it just works really well for you. And yeah, I would start with those. And as I mentioned with Shopify itself is doing really well in terms of site speed, and because of that, I would I really like focusing a lot on backend stuff, because this is something that is not related to Shopify. And if your backend stuff is not doing well, your front-end stuff won't be doing well. So if you have really slow server, or really slow, not efficient database queries, or not like the way you create HTML pages, and Shopify is just not being able to just load the pages fast from the server, the entire loading performance pretty much tanks. And having Shopify itself won't be enough. So you need to go into like analyzing the application itself, analyzing the backend, what's going on there, and going into a bit more in depth. And this is like a bit more complex, because in many cases we as SEOs, we don't have access to like the backend code and the entire setup. So the key is the communication between us and the development team, and being able to understand each other, and communicating those issues, and finding workarounds, and making sure everything is being implemented and things are being actually verified and implemented and fixed.
Very good. Now, one of the things I mentioned in the intro is you've worked with Fortune 500 brands. I mentioned we've got a site with a domain rating of, 70 plus. I can see a lot of newer e-commerce brand owners going, that's awesome. If you have hundreds of products, or you're a massive brand, what about small brands? How do they, get up and going quickly, in your opinion? What are some kind of quick wins that you've seen for, a newer brand?
With newer brands, I like starting from the get-go with branding and all that is a must. Like start with like gathering reviews, building yourself as a real brand. Start this from the beginning. And I say myself as somebody who worked with brands or like businesses that were doing the opposite. So we still managed to get very good results just with SEO. And now I'm working on, for example, just the branding part later, like 2 years after the brand was launched. I might create like a very good case study in terms of that, because that's a very good, like I think it's like a 0.5% of brands are doing this. So doing only website and then all the entire branding. And this is like a very extreme case. So start from the branding from the get-go. With technical SEO, I would say focus on the basics and make sure that you have the basics covered. So make sure the site is being is crawlable, is indexable, the stuff is doing really well. Of course, take care of Merchant Center and show up there, create like a product feed, or create very good structured data on your product. If you are using good CMS, site speed shouldn't be an issue. And for newer brands, go very much into long tail. But we are going a bit outside of technical SEO. We are going into a bit more general SEO. Go into long tail with your collection pages and with your keyword strategy to get those first clients for the less popular keywords, and then go for more general keywords. Because in the longer tail, you have just so little competition in many cases. Yeah. And if you do very well in the other areas, so branding, technical SEO, get a couple of good links, write some good content, having very good results in longer tail will be super easy, and then go from there. I think it will just we like to say SEO is a snowball, and when you are a newer brand, you need to start small to go big later, and you will be surprised of the snowball effect. In my experience when I was working with larger brands, we don't see that. We don't have this snowball effect, because they have this they created a website in 1997, and
I've seen a few of those myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and they had 8 different redesigns, branding differences. Google of course has all of this data still. They have excluded URLs still crawling from 20 years ago. And it's hard to create the snowball effect for those brands. We usually tend to just fix the technical debt that we had over the years. But for smaller brands, it's very good to go very good from the beginning. And you'll be very surprised what you can do when you have this good mind from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Patryk, this has been a pleasure. Any final advice that you can give e-commerce business owners on, improving their technical SEO, either expertise or just results?
Always try to learn, and don't stop doing SEO and technical SEO. There is always something to be done in terms of SEO. and this is never done. As long as you want to grow, I think it's worth doing SEO. And you can stop or like minimize the work, and but you will see the results also either stopping or like slowing down. But remember, the competitors are not sleeping. They're always doing SEO, and they might outrank you if you stop. So just keep working on your websites, and as we mentioned from the beginning, make the best brand you can, and for especially for the users, and the traffic will come, positions will come, and just keep going and never stop.
Love it. Amazing. Patryk, for somebody who wants to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Right now it's LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn under Patryk Wawok. And I have also Twitter, but I haven't posted on it for like 4 years. I might go back there. I don't know. I'm scared of Twitter now. Or X, sorry. Yeah, but mostly LinkedIn. Mostly LinkedIn, and check our website, organichackers.com.
Beautiful. Excellent. Well, thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.